scouting program is designed to grow with the boy. Tiger Cub activities, for example, are quite simple when compared to those of a Boy Scout troop, and we require much more of Boy Scouts than we do of Tiger Cubs. Tiger Cubs are first grade Cub Scouts. Like their older brothers, one of the first things they do is learn the Cub Scout promise. I, Connor, promise to do my best, to do my duty to guide my country, to help other people, and to obey the law of the pack. The law reads as follows. The Cub Scout follows a Caleb. The Cub Scout helps the pack go. The pack helps the Cub Scout grow, and the Cub Scout gives goodwill. The motto of the Cub Scouts is do your best. The next step, of course, is Boy Scouting, where the boys learn the oath and the law that we say at each of our meetings. Boy Scouting also has a motto, be prepared, and a slogan, do a good turn daily. During his scouting career, Stephen Dolan has learned and striven to obey all of these promises, oaths, laws, mottos, slogans, and slogans. Later today, he will repeat one more promise, the Eagle Scout promise. The important thing to remember, and this applies to all of us, is that we shouldn't forget the promises we've made just because we're making a new promise now. It's important to do our best, to help other people, and to follow Kayla and give goodwill, to be prepared and to do a good turn daily. The Scout Oath, the Scout Law, and the rest are not just for Scouts, they're for life. I'd now like to call Jacob up for the Trail to Eagle.
We are gathered here today to mark the end of a big journey, a journey up to the Trail to Eagle. Stephen, at this time, please step forward. As a new scout, his first task was to learn the scouting ideals, the oath, the law, and the motto, and the slogan. By pledging to live by these guidelines, he became a full-fledged scout and earned his scout badge. His new badge didn't stay on his uniform for long. He quickly worked through the tenderfoot requirements, memorizing the oath and the law, going to his first camp out and learning basic first aid skills. He's now a tenderfoot scout. As he continued to be active in the troop, he learned about nature and orienteering and knot tying. He participated in service projects and in a program on the dangers of alcohol, drugs, and tobacco. Doing these things and more earned him the second-class badge. Soon, a year had passed. He had been on 10 campouts and many hikes. He had mastered all the basic scout skills. On September 21st, 2010, he became first-class scout, and he truly was first class. At this point, he paused for a while for a well-deserved rest. The path ahead was less clear than the path he had been following. Now he had to make some choices: which merit badges to earn, what troop office to hold, where to spend his service hours. With hard work and persistence, though, he made the decisions, completed the requirements, and earned the Star Scout badge. The next rank seemed no harder than Star, but he had already done most of the easy merit badges. Now he had to earn more badges like swimming, first aid, aviation, camping, wilderness survival, and emergency preparedness. He worked hard as a troop leader, completed more service projects, and became a life scout, one step away from Eagle. The going got pretty tough now. He could no longer put off these really hard badges. And now he not only had to participate in service projects, but he had to plan and lead such a project. this time, Stephen, please come forward and describe the Eagle Project.
So for those of you who aren't aware with the project that I conducted, my project was building a multitude of bluebird boxes that were erected here on the Church of the Incarnation's property, if you saw them driving in possibly, if you came in from the other direction. I put up 3 boxes here on the church's property and then one on the adjacent property of Java, right across the street. And it seems as though the Bluebird Society that was so nice as to assist me in aiding some schematics and some other plans, put up another box there. I also did some work behind the church here. There's a nice trail that you guys can go for a walk on. And fortunately, the railings are now fixed, so you don't have to worry about falling all the time. So, the project it was relatively tough for the time being. The idea didn't come to me immediately. So, like a lot of other scouts probably right now in this room that are life, they're probably thinking of doing something at Ivy Creek. But I didn't decide to do that due to the fact that I guess I've been going to this church for about the 3 years that I've been here now. I've been getting a little more active, and the influence that the youth group and everyone else has put out on me, I felt I had to give something back. So I put in the hours, I put in the time, I got my crew together. A lot of you guys who did some of the work on the project are here today, and I thank you greatly for the amount of work that you guys did. And now today, it's very nice to know that people use that trail relatively often, and that bluebirds currently inhabit the boxes that we built. So at least we know we're being put to good use. So part of my overall project was just improving the trails as well, and the signs of the cross that are back there. And I'm sorry, I got a little caught up here. So that was pretty much my project, and I'm very sure that the church is appreciative of the boxes are here, as I was appreciative of them for allowing me to erect such a structure on their property.
It is now time for the highlight of our program, presentation of the Eagle Scout Award. I'd like to ask Scoutmaster Mike Nelson to come forward and make the appropriate presentations.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's an honor to be here to celebrate Stephen's accomplishments. Stephen, if you could come up and join me up here on the podium as we move through this. Yes, come on up here. Speak for both of us. We've heard a lot about what it means to be an Eagle Scout. Now I'd like to give your chance to see what it means to you.
So they say about only 4% of Boy Scouts ever become Eagle Scouts. First time I heard that was motivation enough for me to strive to become part of that 4%. But being an Eagle Scout to me means more than a title, more than a badge, more than a medal or a box to cross off on an application. It means much more. It means I'm now among few, but many, that have both the burden and the privilege to live by the Scout oath and law for the rest of my life.
Becoming an Eagle Scout's a great honor. It's also got great responsibility, Stephen. At this time, I would like you to remind us what is required of you as you become an Eagle Scout.
An Eagle Scout is privileged with upholding the Scout oath and law during everyday life, even when times are trying. To always live by the Scout oath, law, motto, and slogan as if they were a credo for the rest of my years, wherever life takes me, regardless of the situation or task at hand. Every action I execute will be done decisively, while consciously taking note of the blessing and burden in mind. This community has given me so much in regards to the experiences I've shared thus far with my fellow Scouts and colleagues alike. However, now the torch has been passed to me, as it has been to many Eagle Scouts both now and to come, to give back to the society that has helped me become the leader that I am today. It is now my responsibility, no, my privilege, to demonstrate with extreme prejudice the leadership in which I've spent years honing, but now to help cultivate the leaders of the future, the new Eagle Scouts of this generation, within our troop and afar, and hope that one day others may walk along the long, rewarding trail to Eagle and see their ambitions both speedily and effectively come to fruition.
At this time, I'd like to ask Eagle Scout Austin Nelson to come up and give Mr. Stephen Dolan the Eagle charge.
During your time in scouting, you have learned and lived the Cub Scout promise, the law of the pack, the Cub Scout motto, and of course the Scout oath, law, motto, and slogan. Each time you're presented with a new code of conduct, the words run familiar to you. You struggle to memorize them. Later, of course, you recited them as easily as you recite your own name and the lessons you taught. Today, for the first time, you repeat the Eagle Scout promise. Again, some of the words will be unfamiliar, but as you live out life as an Eagle Scout, they too become a part of you. Making that new promise does not mean that you should forget all the other promises. Instead, I challenge you to always remember and live by the promises you made as a scout, all the codes you have agreed to follow. Now, finally, it's time for that Eagle Scout promise we keep talking about. Though the words you say are similar to those you have said many times before, today they will mean more to you than they ever have. When you pledge yourself on your sacred honor, we'll be sealing the oath with the words which close the Declaration of Independence. This time I would like all Eagle Scouts in the audience to please rise. Scout Son. I affirm my allegiance to the three promises of the Scout Oath. After me.
I affirm my allegiance.
I affirm my allegiance to the three promises of the Scout Oath.
I affirm my allegiance to the three promises of the Scout Oath.
I thoughtfully recognize and take upon myself the obligations and responsibilities of an Eagle Scout.
I thoughtfully
I thoughtfully recognize and take upon myself the obligations and responsibilities of an Eagle Scout.
I thoughtfully recognize I thoughtfully recognize and take upon the responsibilities and take upon myself the obligations and responsibilities of an Eagle Scout.
On my honor, I will do my best
On my honor, I will do my best
to make my training an example,
to make my training an example,
my rank and my influences count strongly for the better scouting.
to make my training an example, and my rank and influence count strongly for the better scouting
and for better citizenship
and for better citizenship
in my troop,
in my troop,
in my community,
in my community,
and in contact with other people. To this I pledge my sacred honor.
and in contact with other people. To this I pledge my sacred honor.